most realtors are gonna fail in 2026.
A lot of people are cold calling. A lot of realtors are on Instagram creating reels left and right, maybe even running ads, draining money.
The short form is not working. Long form content generates watch time.
Instead of you cold calling, hustling, door to door, left and right, networking, that's what YouTube does it. Do not try to perfect your first couple of videos.
She posted the first video on the channel, had probably like 38 views, something like that. One of them was the actual reach out. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Welcome to Brickbybrick Productions. My name is Archie, one of the co-founders.
And my name is Joe, one of the other co-founders. And we also have Victor, our third co-founder as well.
Right behind the camera. And today we're gonna talk about YouTube. So, where do we start?
There's a lot to talk about, but honestly, I think we should start with the foundations of why realtors won't see success not joining the YouTube search platform, of course. If you want to kick it off?
Yeah. So, I want to say that YouTube is a very major thing to focus on, especially in 2026, right? So, number one thing is why most realtors are gonna fail in 2026 if they won't be utilizing YouTube.
That's a good point. We can definitely expand on that. I mean, to be frank, a lot of realtors are doing it the old ways.
Okay.
You know, we were discussing this the other day. A lot of people are cold calling. A lot of realtors are on Instagram creating reels left and right, maybe even running ads, draining money. Right?
Well, why the short form is not working, I guess that's the major question these days, right?
Exactly. I think a lot of first-time home buyers or people invested in, purchasing the first, second, third home, whatever it is, are looking more so for longer form content, something to create awareness plus trust with a platform in which they can feel comfortable around the person they're going to move forward with, who's going to help them negotiate, set terms, prices, and all that stuff, right? So
that's true. And the major issue, in my opinion, with the short form content, that it's just not enough time to explain all the pros and the cons, to introduce the neighborhood, talk more about the reasons why it's the best place, what are the things they should be aware before making the move, right? And the long form content, it solves that issue, right?
Exactly. 100%.
I would probably say...
You want to go further into it?
One thing I wanted to mention is, especially what's the biggest difference in short form content versus the long form from the standpoint of the algorithm, right? Is because long form content generates watch time. And watch time is one of the key metrics for the YouTube algorithm to understand if your content is actually interesting enough. So the longer the video is, the more time people gonna spend watching it, which gonna generate more watch time, right? And YouTube algorithm reads that to understand, okay, this topic is actually interesting. People are spending time on the platform. The algorithm is gonna push that content to more people, generating more impressions, which is going to generate more views, and the views going to generate more watch time. And it's a closed loop, right?
For sure, which eventually is like a cycle, right? And I mean, impressions are also configured as we call them, prospecting. Impression is prospecting. So when YouTube shows your content all around YouTube, suggested videos, homepages everywhere, or even after you finish another video from another channel completely, right? That's prospecting. Instead of you cold calling, hustling, door to door, left and right, networking, that's what YouTube does it. And that's where the long form comes in.
What about the biggest mistakes that realtors make when they start their channel?
I think the biggest thing would be is them trying to do it all without having, one, research, two, an agency or someone or people or a crew to help them build the channel, people who are experts in the field, right? You are an expert being a realtor, selling homes, helping your clients. But when you step into the game of, let's say, a search-based engine like YouTube itself that's owned by Google, you're going to have people in the background who have done this multiple times, who have basically worked with a formula and replicated it and seen how it performs and how efficient it is with all the clients they've worked with in the past, of course.
Yeah.
And push towards that to get some expert advice and get the channel built out, essentially, get the channel rolling and more so autonomously work itself. Right? What do you think about that?
That's a very valid point. But on top of that, I think real estate agents should focus on the biggest priority for them, which is what? Selling homes, showing homes, signing contracts, instead of figuring out how to optimize their videos, which topics to talk about, how to do their hook, intro, outro, how to publish, create thumbnails. There are so many different things. You would spend and waste hours on trying to figure it out and then continue spending this time to implement this every time, especially if you want to stay consistent with YouTube, which is the number one priority. You have to be consistent. Otherwise, it won't work. It's a long run.
There's no point of it. Exactly. 100%. And by the time they're spending time researching and building everything, instead of delegating the tasks to experts, they're wasting their time and they're missing out on the leads and the prospects throughout the entire time. Right? So totally agree. Definitely, they should definitely be consistent on YouTube. This isn't like a 1, 2, 3 month plan. This is a plan for the long game. We're talking years and years. And that's not talking about ROI, of course, and you seeing your investments back or leads coming through, right? That's all factored in different gameplays. But this is a long game. Just how you're on Instagram creating reels for the past 2, 3 years, 4 years, you want to do the exact same thing, but in long form on YouTube, consistently week after week.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
And it's not only about that, I mean, which is a great point, but I like to say YouTube is not a sprint, it's a marathon. You have to be invested in it, right? You have to stay consistent. And you're going to hear me saying this multiple times, but if you're staying consistent, you're going to win. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
Exactly. All right. So with that being said, why should people go with Brickbybrick Productions? And what are the 3 core video strategies that we implement?
Great question. The main reason is because we have the experience in the field. You know, we've been working with probably, hundreds of different agents across for the past 5, 6 years for me at this point. And I've seen it all. Different markets, different styles of videos, different level of experience of being in front of the camera, either people starting from zero to people who've been doing this multiple years already, and we've helped those people already with the strategy, with staying consistent, with holding their hands throughout an entire program, setting everything from scratch, or helping them with the refining their already existing YouTube, right?
Good point.
But maybe in terms of the topics, I think you would be the best person even to answer that, Joe. You've said it so many times.
For sure. The 3 main core topics that we really preach to start would be vlog tour, pros and cons, cost of living. I would say these are 3 ideal videos that you can recreate, we could say month after month, city after city, right? Because it's an non-ever-ending topic, basically, right? So there's so much to discuss of it, and you can make many videos from this. You don't have to just make one video. You could definitely make a part 2, part 3, part 4, and definitely put that into a playlist, which then generates views.
Binge watching.
Exactly. Generates impressions, higher impressions, watch time, all that stuff, which then results in leads coming in, more prospects, more views on your channel, and the ever-growing content on your channel and the ever-growing YouTube channel itself.
100%.
Like we said, it's just a cycle.
Yeah.
Right? But that's those are the main 3 topics I would say we would start with, but there's a lot more to cover, of course.
Good point. What you would say would be the other ideas that you would suggest to your client in the long run that would be valuable for the viewer?
For sure. I mean, there's plenty of evergreen content to cover, don't get me wrong, but there is also videos that need to be created, such as new construction, reconstructed homes, or certain price points of videos that I always recommend my clients. So for example, this is covering playlists as well, by the way, since we're coming back on that. Let's say you cover homes for 350K, 450K. You pick a number and you visit multiple homes with different videos that you make and cover these homes, these listings, these tour listings, right?
People love seeing
Create
that.
a playlist of that with all over the cities, right? And then let that generate views. Those are a couple topics we can discuss, of course. And then you have the other type of evergreen content, which you, of course, know.
What about map tours? People love those.
Exactly. Those are really good, especially since if you're using Google Maps with YouTube, what have we seen so far?
Google, all owned by Google, right?
Exactly. And it works really well. Not sure how this works, but it seems like the algorithm likes to kick in when it finds that you're using their Google products, of course. And it's a great way because I think of it as a vlog tour, but it's more digital, right? So instead of walking around and showcasing the best areas, you can show that through your computer, and really easy to record as well, right? Loom, Zoom, iPhone.
You don't need to drive anywhere. Save time on that.
Exactly.
You know, you sit in front of the computer, pull up your script if needed,
Exactly.
hit on record, pull up your camera in front of it, and you're good to go.
Okay, so Archie, I want to ask you, realtors, we know they're always busy, right? You're always running around trying to work with leads left and right.
Yep.
What are some tips that you can provide them which can ease their way into YouTube and start their channel, build and grow?
Well, number one thing I would say in terms of the time commitment, right? A lot of people wonders like, well, Archie, it's probably going to take me even more than I'm spending on cold calls or like door knocking, you know, the classics, right? But to be honest, the consistency, that's what matters. So if you'll spend 3 hours, let's say, for making one video, if you want to do 2 videos on a weekly basis, that's 6 hours. If you'll substitute or remove all the old ways of prospecting, cold calling, you know, asking for referrals, sending mailers, running ads, you're going to save time, not spend time, right? But in terms of the tips, I would say the simplest one, but the most effective is the time blocking. You know, I personally love Google Calendar. Whenever I have something planned out, I would put it in my calendar, right? I would suggest the same thing for my clients. You know, I would look at their calendar, or I would suggest them to look at their calendar, pick the day or days that are least busiest in their schedule, and just block off time specifically for recording content. So you cannot plan anything else, appointments or showings. You know, 12 till 3 p.m., for instance, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, this is when I make content, right? And you stick to it. It's been scientifically proven that after 21 days, your brain builds the habit. So try to make it for at least 3 weeks, you know, and then it will become a habit for you. It's going to feel natural, going to make you stay on point with the creation, and we'll handle the rest.
For sure. I honestly think my biggest tip is do not try to perfect your first couple of videos. I see this very often with realtors, and they just want to have a Hollywood-style movie within 12 to 20 minutes worth of a video. That's the worst way you can do things, because if you try to perfect that video, you're never going to end up publishing it, which is why we come back to the topic of consistency. Push out the videos, and you by yourself organically are going to improve via your scripting, via the amount of time it takes you to shoot the video, via planning and organizing it on your calendar. By yourself, you're going to improve, but all you got to do is stay consistent and push it out there and get out of your comfortable zone. That's another big tip, I would say.
I agree. All right, Joe. I got one important question to you, though, that a lot of people ask. How soon I should expect the results to come in if I'll start YouTube from zero?
That's actually a great question. We get those questions very often from pretty much every single client. So, you know, the market is different for every single state and every single province as well. And there is no set ROI, of course, but majority of times we seem to experience anywhere from 90 to 120 days in terms of ROI. In terms of your first lead commenting on YouTube or your first lead reaching out on with whether your phone number, your calendar, or even just emailing you, right? I think what factors in is politics. There's, of course, how consistent are you on YouTube? Are you posting these videos, 2 videos a week, 3 videos a week, of course?
Interest rates,
exactly.
Always.
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of factors. Anything you could think of else?
I mean, again, I'll come back to the consistency. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when, right? And I've seen different case studies and different results from my clients. You know, so far the record I've had is a brand new channel, brand new client, never done videos before. She posted the first video on the channel, had probably like 38 views, something like that. One of them was the actual reach out. They commented on it, they're connected and, you know, jumped on the call. Close the deal out of it.
That's beautiful.
But at the same time, Joe, I don't want to misrepresent and set those expectations too high.
Of course.
The highest one I remember was Vancouver market, actually, a few years ago. And the client was publishing for a good 6 months before they saw a first lead. They had a few leads that were interested in renting, but the first lead that would actually convert to a closed deal was around 6 months. But I think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but statistically, I've seen the big difference and the jump in terms of impressions, comments, likes, the overall engagement on the channel around after 3 months, 3 to 4 months. That's probably was the thing. So if you guys are interested in working with us, please book your free strategy call. Visit brickbybrick.productions, and we would love to work with you.
And just keep in mind, guys, as account managers, we are happy to help, and we are willing to help with everything around YouTube, SEO, publishing, professional video editing, professional thumbnails creations, and even scripting as well. So feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.